You don't truly know someone when they're smiling. You know them when they're winning. Or when you are. Modern life tells us to give people the benefit of the doubt. But what if doubt is how we let dangerous people in? And here's the truth no one talks about. Character isn't revealed in big moments. It leaks out in the smallest reactions, if you know where to look. Welcome to StoicCraft, where we teach you how to read between the lines of human behavior and sharpen your discernment. If you're ready to protect your peace, subscribe now, and let's begin. Have you ever met someone who seemed amazing at first, but later left you thinking, wow, I did not see that coming? The truth is people reveal their true colors all the time. You just have to know where to look. And today, I'm sharing signs to instantly uncover who someone really is, from how they treat strangers to how they handle your success. These subtle clues can save you from heartbreak, toxic friendships, or even bad business deals. So grab a notebook or just your mental checklist, and let's decode the real personalities hiding behind the masks. Ready? Let's go. 1. Pay attention to their reaction to your success. Let's get real. This one cuts deeper than most of us are willing to admit. Success has a way of shaking up the dynamics in any relationship. It's not just about what you accomplish. It's about what your success reveals in the people around you. And sometimes that revelation is not what you hope for when you achieve something, whether it's a big milestone like starting your dream career, hitting a fitness goal, or even a small victory like learning a new skill. It feels natural to share that joy out with your loved ones, to celebrate with you, to be as excited for you as you are for yourself. But what happens when their reaction doesn't match your expectations? Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine you've been grinding for months on a project, pouring in late nights and sacrificing weekends. Finally, your hard work pays off. You get that promotion or hit a big milestone. You're buzzing with excitement. So you tell your best friend. You expect to hear, "That's amazing. I'm so proud of you." Instead, you get, "Wow, must be nice. Some of us aren't so lucky." Sound familiar? It happened to me. I'll never forget the day I told someone close to me about a huge achievement. I'd worked years for. Their response, a forced smile, followed by a quick pivot to their own struggles. No congratulations, no genuine excitement, just discomfort disguised as indifference. At first, I blamed myself. Did I share the news wrong? Was I bragging? But then I realized their reaction wasn't about me at all. It was about what my success triggered in them. This is the uncomfortable truth about success. It doesn't just bring joy. It exposes insecurities. When you win, it forces the people around you to reflect on where they are in their own journey. For some, that full reflection is empowering. It inspires them to work harder, dream bigger, and support you even more. For others, it creates resentment because your success highlights their fears, failures, or insecurities. Now here's the controversial part. Not everyone who fails to celebrate you is a bad person. Life is messy. People go through their own struggles, and sometimes they just don't have the emotional bandwidth to show up for you. But if someone consistently downplays your achievements, dismisses your joy, or shifts the conversation to themselves, it's a sign that they're struggling to handle your growth. Here's another layer to this. Pay attention, not just to what they say, but to how they say it. Are their congratulations genuine, or do they feel forced? Do they subtly undermine your success with comments like, "You're lucky you had connections," or "I could do that too if I had the time"? These micro reactions speak volumes about their mindset and their relationship with you. I want to emphasize something here. Success doesn't always mean a big paycheck or a flashy lifestyle. Sometimes it's something as simple as choosing happiness, setting boundaries, or prioritizing your health. Even those choices can make others uncomfortable because it reminds them of what they're not doing. For example, I once decided to take a break from a toxic environment. It wasn't easy, but it was necessary for my mental health. When I told someone close to me, their reaction was lukewarm at best. They couldn't understand why I would quit something others envied in hindsight their inability. To celebrate my decision wasn't about the decision itself. It was about their fear of making a similar leap in their own life. Now let's turn the lens inward for a moment. How do you react to other people's success? It's easy to focus on how others treat us, but what about when the roles are reversed? Maybe your friend gets a promotion while you're stuck in a job you hate. Maybe your sibling buys their dream home while you're struggling with rent. It's natural to feel that pang of jealousy or self-doubt, but how you respond matters. Do you let those feelings fester, or do you push past them to genuinely support the people you care about? This is where the deeper lesson lies. Success is a test for both you and the people around you. It tests your relationships, your values, and your ability to rise above pettiness. It's a mirror that reflects the truth, whether we're ready to see it or not. So what do you do when someone shows their true colors in the face of your success? By setting boundaries, it's okay to distance yourself from people who consistently bring negativity into your moments of joy. At the same time, recognize that not everyone is in a place to celebrate with you, and that's okay. You don't need everyone's approval to validate your journey. On the flip side, commit to being the kind of person who celebrates others. Clap for your friends, even when you're not where you want to be. Cheer for your family, even when success feels light years ahead of yours. Because here's the truth, there's enough room at the table for everyone to win. Someone else's success doesn't diminish your own potential. It amplifies it. In the end, success isn't just about what you achieve. It's about what it teaches you. It reveals who's in your corner, who needs space to grow, and who you're becoming. And the most powerful lesson, true joy is found not just in reaching your goals, but in celebrating the wins, yours and others, along the way. So the next time you hit a milestone, pay close attention. The people who light up for you are your real ones. Keep them close for everyone else. Let them go with grace. Success is a journey, and you deserve to walk it with those who genuinely want to see you thrive. Music. To observe how they handle power. Power is one of the biggest truth tellers, whether it's the power to make decisions, lead a group, or even control a small situation. How someone handles power reveals the core of who they are. Because here's the thing, power doesn't corrupt people. It amplifies what's already inside them. If they're kind and empathetic at heart, power will make them more generous. But if they're insecure, controlling, or selfish, power will magnify those traits like a spotlight. Let me start with a personal story to drive this home. Years ago, I worked under a manager who had just been promoted. At first, they were friendly and approachable, the kind of person you could grab coffee with and have a good laugh. But the moment they were handed a little authority, everything changed suddenly. Every email had a tone, every meeting felt like a lecture, and every minor mistake became a teachable moment for the entire team. The power went straight to their head, and it was exhausting to be around. What struck me most was how unnecessary it all was. Instead of using their position to uplift and empower the team, they used it to assert dominance and feed their ego. And guess what? It didn't make them more respected. It made everyone resent them. That's the ironic thing about power. The more you abuse it, the weaker you actually look. On the flip side, I've also had the privilege of working with leaders who treated their power like a responsibility, not a weapon. They used it to create opportunities for others to listen, to lead by example. One mentor of mine used to say, if your position makes you feel bigger, it's time to check your ego. Power should feel heavy, not make you feel tall. It stuck with me because it's so true. Real power is about service, not superiority. But it's not just about leaders or managers. Power dynamics exist in every relationship, friendships, families, romantic Partnerships, ever noticed how some people switch up the moment they feel they have the upper hand? Maybe it's a friend who suddenly becomes bossy when you're relying on them for a favor, or a partner who takes advantage of your vulnerability during a disagreement. These moments might seem small, but they reveal a lot about someone's character. Here's the controversial part. How someone handles power, no matter how big or small, can be a deal breaker. If they use it to control, manipulate, or belittle others, it's a red flag that shouldn't be ignored. Some people might argue, oh, they're just stressed, or they're figuring it out. Sure, we all have bad days. But consistent abuse of power isn't a personality quirk, it's a choice. I've seen this play out in friendships too. A friend of mine once landed in a position where they were in charge of organizing a community project. I was thrilled for them, finally, their chance to shine, but as the project unfolded, they became insufferable. Every decision had to go through them. Every suggestion was met with resistance. And if someone dared to question them, forget it. They turned into a dictator over a bake sale. It was eye-opening, because their behavior wasn't about the project, it was about their need to feel important. And let's not forget the micro-power dynamics we see every day. Watch how someone treats a waiter, a cashier, or anyone they think they have power over. Are they kind, patient, and respectful? Or do they act entitled and dismissive? I once went on a date with someone who was overly charming to me, but snapped at the server when their drink order took too long. That was the last date we ever had, because that one moment told me everything I needed to know. Here's the deep message. Power doesn't create character, it reveals it. It's like peeling back the layers of an onion. What's underneath is what's real. And while not everyone will wield power perfectly, how they handle it in the small, everyday moments is a preview of how they'll handle it when it really matters. Now, here's where it gets personal. Ask yourself, how do you handle power? Because it's easy to point fingers, but this is a two-way street. Maybe you're the one with a little authority at work, or the upper hand in a relationship. Do you use that power to uplift others, or do you let it feed your ego? It's uncomfortable to think about, but necessary. I'll admit, there have been moments in my life where I've let power get to my head. I've been the one to make a snarky comment, to insist on my way, to forget that power isn't about proving you're right. It's about doing what's right, and every time I caught myself, it was a humbling reminder to check my ego and remember that power in any form is a privilege, not a right. So what's the takeaway when someone shows you how they handle power, big or small? Pay attention, watch their actions, not their words. Do they lead with kindness and respect, or do they let power control them? And when it comes to your own life, remember that true power isn't about control, about compassion, responsibility, and the ability to make others feel stronger in your presence. Because at the end of the day, power is fleeting. What stays is how you made people feel when you had it. And that's the legacy that truly matters. 3. Observe how they handle stress. Stress is the ultimate magnifying glass. It enlarges whatever's already inside someone, whether it's kindness, patience, or anger. When life gets tough and the pressure's on, you really start to see what people are made of. That's when their true colors come out. And sometimes it's not the beautiful rainbow you were hoping for. Let's be honest, nobody handles stress perfectly. We all have our moments where we snap, shut down, or spiral. But there's a big difference between someone who occasionally struggles and someone who consistently uses stress as an excuse to treat others poorly. How a person handles their hardest days is a direct reflection of their character, plain and simple. Here's a personal story that still sticks with me. I once had a friend who was the life of the party, always cracking jokes and radiating good vibes. But when they were under stress, whether it was work deadlines, relationship drama, or family issues, they became a completely different person. They'd lash out, shout, make cutting remarks, and then blame it all on their stress. You know how I get when I'm under pressure? They'd say like that excused everything at first. I gave them the benefit of the doubt. We all have bad days, right? But over time, I realized their bad days were just their real personality slipping through the stress. Didn't make them cruel. It revealed the cruelty that was already there. And when I started distancing myself, they accused me of not being supportive. But here's the truth: supporting someone doesn't mean letting them treat you like a punching bag. On the flip side, I've also known people who've gone through unimaginable stress, job losses, breakups, health crises, and still managed to show kindness and grace. One friend of mine lost their job unexpectedly and was barely scraping by for months. You'd think the stress would break them, but his instead. They became even more compassionate. They started volunteering at a food bank, saying, if I'm struggling, imagine what others are going through. That's the kind of person you want in your life. Someone who rises above their circumstances, not someone who lets stress turn them into a monster. Here's where it gets controversial. People love to say you can't judge someone when they're under stress, but I disagree. Stress is exactly when you should pay attention, because that's when the masks come off. It's easy to be nice when everything's going your way. The real test is how someone acts when they're late for a flight, stuck in traffic, or facing a tough decision. Do they keep their cool, or do they explode and take everyone down with them? And let's not forget the everyday stress tests, like how they handle minor inconveniences. I once dated someone who seemed sweet and charming until we faced something as trivial as a long line at the coffee shop. They'd roll their eyes, complain loudly, and even snap at the barista for taking too long. That may seem small, but it was a red flag waving in my face. If someone can't handle a little stress without falling apart, how are they going to handle the big stuff? Now, before we get too judgmental, let's turn the lens inward. How do you handle stress? Because let's face it, we've all had moments we're not proud of. Maybe you've snapped at a loved one during a hectic day, or ghosted a friend when life got overwhelming. That doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you human. The key is to recognize those patterns and work on them. I remember a time when I was juggling too many responsibilities, work deadlines, family commitments, and a personal crisis all at once. I was so stressed that I started snapping at the people I cared about most. One day, my best friend called me out, saying, I get that you're overwhelmed, but it's not fair to take it out on me. It was a wake-up call. Stress isn't an excuse to hurt others, and I had to own that. Here's the deep truth: stress doesn't justify bad behavior, but it does explain it. The question is, what do you do with that explanation? Do you use it as an excuse to keep lashing out, or do you see it as an opportunity to grow? Now, here's the big takeaway: stress doesn't just reveal who people are, it also shows you who they value. Pay attention to who they snap at and who they protect when the pressure's on. Do they take their frustration out on the people closest to them, or do they make an effort to shield others from their stress? It says everything about their priorities and their character. At the same time, give yourself grace when you're the one under pressure. Nobody's perfect, and learning to handle stress is a lifelong journey. The goal isn't to be flawless, it's to be self-aware. If you catch yourself slipping, take responsibility and make it right, because the real measure of character isn't never making mistakes, it's how you handle them when they happen. So the next time someone shows you how they act under stress, don't ignore it. Whether it's a friend, partner, or colleague, their reaction isn't just a on-off. It's a glimpse into their true self. And if you're the one feeling the pressure, remember, this stress will test you, but it doesn't have to define you. Who you become under stress is a choice. And that choice can either strengthen your relationships or shatter them in the end. Stress is like way of asking, who are you really? Answer wisely. 4. Test the reaction to know. Here's a truth we don't talk about enough. If you want to know someone's true character, tell them No, it's one of the simplest yet most powerful ways to see who they really are. Will they respect your boundaries? Or will they push back guilt, trip you, or even lash out? Because how someone reacts to being denied something isn't just about that moment. It's a direct reflection of their maturity, their respect for you, and quite frankly, their level of entitlement. Let's get personal. I once had a friend who loved to plan group trips. Sounds great, right? Except they had a habit of picking destinations that were wildly expensive and inconvenient for everyone else one year. I had to decline because the timing, and cost just didn't work for me. When I told them no, their response wasn't, "Oh, I understand." Instead, it was a full-blown guilt trip. Wow, so you don't care about spending time with us, I guess. I'm the only one who values this friendship. It wasn't just disappointing, it was revealing. That single no showed me how conditional their kindness really was. And let's not sugarcoat it. Some people treat no like a personal attack. They'll act offended, throw tantrums, or try to manipulate you into changing your mind. Why? Because your boundaries make them uncomfortable. It's not about what you're saying no to. It's about the fact that you're asserting yourself. And they don't like losing control. Here's where it gets controversial. A lot of people think you owe them a yes, whether it's a favor, your time, or even your energy. They'll act like saying no is a betrayal, but the harsh truth is this: you don't owe anyone your agreement. Boundaries aren't selfish, they are necessary, and anyone who can't handle that isn't someone who values you. They value what you can do for them. On the flip side, there are people who handle no with grace and maturity. I'll never forget a former colleague who once asked me to help with the big project on a tight deadline. I was swamped and had to decline. Instead of sulking or getting passive aggressive, they said, "No worries. I know you've got a lot on your plate. Let me know if there's a way I can support you." Instead, that response stuck with me because it showed respect not just for my time, but for me as a person. Here's the thing: saying no is hard enough as it is. We've been conditioned to think it makes us selfish, unkind, or difficult. But let's flip the script for a second. What does it say about someone who can't handle hearing no? It says they're not as invested in you as they are in what they can get from you. I've seen this play out in romantic relationships too. Early in one of my past relationships, I set a boundary about needing time for myself. My partner at the time didn't take it well. They accused me of not caring, made sarcastic comments, and even started questioning my commitment. That reaction was a massive red flag, and it taught me something important. A healthy relationship thrives on mutual respect, not guilt and control. And let's not forget those sneaky manipulators who disguise their discomfort with no as jokes or playful comments. You say, "I can't make it to dinner tonight," and they hit you with, "Oh, guess I'm just not important enough." It might sound lighthearted, but underneath it is a little jab designed to make you feel bad. Those are the people who can't take no as an answer because they see your boundaries as an inconvenience to them. But here's the deep truth: how someone reacts to no isn't just about that moment. It's about how they view relationships. Do they see you as an equal, someone whose boundaries deserve respect? Or do they see you as a means to an end, someone whose job is to meet their needs, no matter the cost? Now, let's turn the mirror around for a moment. How do you react when someone tells you no? Because it's easy to expect respect from others, but are you giving it in return? I'll admit there have been times when hearing no stung, like when a friend declined my invitation, or when a colleague turned down my help. My gut reaction was to feel rejected, but I had to remind myself their no wasn't about me. It was about their own needs and boundaries. This is where growth happens. Learning to accept no gracefully is just as important as learning to say it. It's a sign of emotional maturity and respect for the people in your life. So what's the takeaway? The next time you tell someone no, pay attention to their reaction. Do they respect your decision, or do they try to make you feel bad about it. And when someone says no to you, take a moment to reflect on how you handle it, because ultimately, how we respond to no is one of the truest tests of character. At the end of the day, boundaries are about love. For yourself and for others, saying no is an act of self-respect, and accepting no is an act of respecting someone else. It's not always easy, but it's always worth it, because the people who truly value you won't see your boundaries as walls. They'll see them as doors to a healthier, more authentic connection. 5. Watch how they treat service workers. Here's the deal: how someone treats service workers, waiters, cashiers, delivery drivers, says more about their character than almost anything else. Why? Because these are interactions where the person holds all the power. They can be kind, patient, and respectful, or they can be rude, dismissive, and entitled. And let's be real, if someone can't show basic decency to people in these roles, what does that say about how they view others? Let me paint you a picture. You're in a first date, and everything seems great. They're charming, funny, and attentive. And until the waiter forgets their drink order, suddenly their tone changes. They snap, roll their eyes, or throw in a snide remark, like, "Is it that hard to remember one drink?" It's uncomfortable to watch, right? That's because it's a red flag waving in your face if someone can be that unkind to a stranger over a minor inconvenience. Imagine how they'll act when the stakes are higher, like during a disagreement in your relationship. Here's where it gets controversial. Some people will argue, oh, they're just having a bad day, or it's not a big deal. They're just frustrated. But let's be honest, bad days don't justify bad behavior. Stress might explain why someone's a little impatient, but it doesn't excuse treating someone like they're beneath you. Decency isn't situational. It's a baseline. I remember a time when this became crystal clear to me. I was out with a group of friends, and one of them ordered something that came out slightly wrong. Instead of politely pointing it out, they decided to make a scene. They called the server incompetent and the manager, and turned what should have been a simple fix into a full-blown performance. The rest of us were mortified, but what struck me most was how unnecessary it all was. They could have handled it with kindness and still gotten the right order. That moment taught me everything I needed to know about their sense of entitlement. And it wasn't pretty. Now, let's flip the script. I've also had the privilege of knowing people who treat service workers like gold, no matter what. One of my closest friends is the type who remembers the names of baristas' tips generously and thanks delivery drivers like they just saved her life. Watching her interact with people is a reminder that kindness costs nothing, but it means everything. It's not about the tip or the thank you. It's about recognizing someone's humanity, no matter what their job is. Let's get even deeper. The way someone treats service workers isn't just about that interaction. It's a window into how they view the world. Do they see people as equals deserving of respect, or do they see them as obstacles, tools, or the help? This isn't just a character test, it's a values test. And let's not forget the everyday moments that reveal so much. Ever been with someone who refuses to say thank you at a drive-thru, or acts like a store clerk's greeting is beneath them? These aren't just minor oversights. They're insights into how someone treats others when they think no one's watching. And spoiler alert, if they can't muster basic manners in these situations, they probably won't in more important ones either. Here's a personal story that still makes me cringe. I once worked in retail during the holidays, a stress test for anyone's patience. One day a customer came in furious that the item they wanted wasn't in stock. I tried to explain the situation, but they wouldn't hear it. They yelled, threw a tantrum, and stormed out, calling me names on their way. It wasn't just humiliating, it was dehumanizing. And you know what stuck with me? It wasn't about the item. It was about their belief that their frustration gave them the right to treat someone poorly. On the flip side, I've also experienced the opposite. There was a customer who came in regularly, always smiling, always asking how our day was. One time I messed up their order, and instead of getting upset, they said, "Don't worry about it. It happens to everyone." That simple moment of grace made my entire day better. It's proof that kindness isn't just about what you give, it's about how it makes others feel. Now, let's bring it back to you. How do you treat service workers? Because this isn't just about spotting red flags in others. It's also about checking your own behavior. Do you say please and thank you? Do you make eye contact and treat them like people, not robots? It's easy to point fingers, but growth starts with accountability. Here's the deep message. Respect is the foundation of every relationship, whether it's with a loved one or a stranger. Taking your coffee order and how you treat people who can't do anything for you is the truest reflection of your character. Because at the end of the day, service workers are people working hard, doing their best, and deserving of the same kindness you'd want for yourself. So the next time you're out with someone, watch how they treat the waiter, the cashier, the delivery driver. It's not just a small detail, it's a big clue about who they are. And if you're the one standing in line, remember, this kindness is free, but its impact is priceless. You never know what someone's going through, and your respect might just be the thing that makes their day a little brighter. Because here's the truth: in a world where you can be anything, be kind to everyone always. So there you have it, ways to instantly see someone's true colors. It's not about being cynical or judging every move someone makes. It's about paying attention to the little things that reveal who they really are, whether it's how they react to no, how they treat service workers, or how they handle stress. These moments are like windows into their soul. At the end of the day, actions always speak louder than words. It's easy for someone to talk a big game about being kind, respectful, or trustworthy, but the truth always shows up in the small, unscripted moments. And here's the thing: the more you pay attention, the more you'll realize that people show you who they are all the time. The question is, are you watching now? Here's a challenge for you: start noticing these signs in the people around you. But don't stop there. Turn the mirror on yourself. Are you showing your best colors to the world? Are you handling stress with grace, treating others with respect, and living in alignment with the values you hold dear? If you've enjoyed this deep dive into the little signs that reveal big truths, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Let's start a conversation in the comments. What's one moment that revealed Simeon's true colors to you? Or better yet, what's a moment when you learned something about yourself? Remember, life's too short to surround yourself with people who don't value and respect you. Keep your circle full of people who shine their best colors, and always strive to be the kind of person who brightens someone else's world. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and stay true to yourself.